Hello everyone, this is Associate Curator Matt Skic from the Museum of the American Revolution. It's Memorial Day weekend, a time of commemoration and remembrance of those men and women who have lost their lives in defense of American liberty. Those people who have made the ultimate sacrifice are our mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters. They are community members, neighbors, and friends. But they are also our ancestors, the people that came before us. They are the diverse people we read about in history books and encounter at places such as the Museum of the American Revolution. The hundreds of objects we display at the museum serve as entry points for the real stories of the people of the Revolutionary era. The objects, in some cases, are evidence of lives lost fighting for the United States during the Revolutionary War. Take, for example, this saber. This fearsome weapon is marked 3T-PLD NO17 on its knucklebow or guard, referring to the 3rd Troop of Polish officer Casimir Pulaski's Light Dragoons or Legion of Dragoons, a cavalry unit in General Washington's army. NO17 is likely an issue number assigned to the dragoon who carried this weapon under Pulaski's command. Dragoon is a term for a soldier who is equipped to fight on both horseback and on foot. Pulaski had traveled from Europe to America in 1777 and offered his services to the Continental Army. He and other European officers used their training and experience to improve the effectiveness of the American cavalry. Formed in 1778, Pulaski's Dragoons fought in New Jersey and then Savannah, Georgia. An ethnically diverse unit, the troops under Pulaski's command included Polish, French, Hungarian, and American soldiers. Pulaski, however, did not survive the Revolutionary War. He was killed while leading a charge at the Siege of Savannah in 1779. Today, Pulaski is an icon amongst Polish Americans. For those of you from the state of Illinois, you probably celebrate Pulaski Day at the beginning of March each year. For those of you from New York or New Jersey, you've probably driven across the Pulaski Skyway, one of America's first superhighways. And I can't forget about the dozens of towns around this country that are named in honor of this Polish officer who died fighting for America's independence. This weekend, we can also consider the story of Colonel Jonathan Pettibone, a Connecticut militia officer. A veteran of the French and Indian War, Pettibone commanded the 18th Connecticut Militia Regiment during the fight for New York in 1776. From their positions in Manhattan, Pettibone's militiamen could hear the cannon and gunfire raging as the Battle of Brooklyn Heights began on August 27th. Colonel Pettibone fell ill in September 1776 and died in Rye, New York, as he was journeying home. In his will, Pettibone left his sword to his son Jonathan, who also served in the militia. Well, that very sword that Pettibone carried in 1776, engraved with his name, still survives. It was donated to the Museum of the American Revolution in 2017 by one of Pettibone's descendants, who today lives in Maryland. The sword is one of the great acquisitions made by the Museum of the American Revolution since we opened to the public, and it was donated generously by one of the museum's fans. Today, the sword is on display at the museum, and it serves as a testament to Pettibone's fight in defense of American liberty. Lastly, I want to call your attention to another story that we remember and tell at the Museum of the American Revolution. That's the story of Gershom Prince, who was a soldier of African descent who served in the Continental Army. Also a veteran of the French and Indian War, Prince was an officer's aide in the 4th Connecticut Regiment during the Revolutionary War. He fought at the battles of Brandywine and Germantown and also wintered at Valley Forge. He was from an area of land in northeastern Pennsylvania, which back then was claimed by the state of Connecticut. That area of land is known as the Wyoming Valley. The powder horn that Prince carried during the Revolutionary War and throughout his military service still survives. It is on loan to the museum from the Luzerne County Historical Society in Pennsylvania. The powder horn once was suspended from Gershom Prince's shoulder, and it carried the gunpowder for his firearm. It is engraved with his name. On July 3, 1778, a combined force of Iroquois Native Americans and Loyalists attacked the Wyoming Valley and killed most of the outnumbered revolutionary soldiers stationed there. Gershom Prince was among those killed that day. He was 45 years old. The powder horn that he carried was taken from his body and preserved. It is an honor for the Museum of the American Revolution to display such an object and share Prince's story. The horn is probably the only surviving powder horn carried by a soldier of African descent who was killed in battle during the Revolutionary War. This Memorial Day weekend, we hope that the stories of Casimir Pulaski, Jonathan Pettibone, and Gershom Prince will inspire you to learn more about the nation's first fallen revolutionaries. How else will you memorialize the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of American liberty over the past 240 years?